Hello everyone, it's the best day of the week. It's Inside the Tape Day and we are at a brand new track. New track to figure out, new lines, new jumps. It's super exciting and we got Charlie, he's trackside. Charlie, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Good morning, Ben, and good morning, y'all. We are today in the United States of America for this brand new round of the UCI Downhill World Cup here in Lake Placid. There is a brand new track behind us that has been shaped in part by Aaron Gwynn. So I am really excited to show you what it's about. The top section is completely fresh and extremely open, probably more open than we have seen it in any other track this year. It is also very fresh. The track has just been built and arguably never really been ridden. The lines are going to cut in early on, they might change later, and the track is probably going to blow up. There is a lot of lines in this top section today, so we're going to try to cover as much as we possibly can from this new lines and see how they evolve throughout the day to give you the most comprehensive rundown and understand where the difference is going to be made on Saturday.
That sounds great, Charlie. And is it nice out there? Is it raining? It sounds good.
Yeah, but I think we are pretty lucky this week. The weather is normally pretty average in this part of the world in October, and it is full sun, about 14-15 degrees, and it is supposed to stay that way for the whole week. So lucky for us, lucky for the riders, I think it's going to be a very exciting weekend of racing.
Amazing, right, get down, show us what's happening, and yeah, I can't wait. Find a good ghosting bit, there should be a good one somewhere.
Land of the free, let's go!
Everything is so new, isn't it? And it's very, very loose. So for them, the main priority is actually just remembering what's coming. So like forget the lines, almost like actually what's coming next. And we're trying to work really hard in terms of the lines on not actually bogging down on the exact ones too early, not getting too detailed. Let's just have a gentle look. Let's try and figure out the vibe of the track more than necessarily where like the exact line is. In terms of like timing, split screens, figuring out which line's faster, it's, I would say, pointless at the moment. Whereas other tracks, you know, you go to Leogang or something, everyone's up to speed so quickly that it's kind of worth doing that quite early. So yeah, it's different, I think, is the simple answer to the question.
The top section of the wood is multi-lined throughout. Every corner, every straight line presents the riders with a choice. The morning was tricky as lines weren't cut, but the afternoon wasn't any easier. Because the course is taped so wide, it is complicated to see and figure out which line is faster now, and which line will be faster after it gets ridden for a few days. For example, here is a multi-line section that can be ridden in many different ways. It's the fourth of its kind already, and we're not even a quarter of the way down the track. You can get the berm, then sneak in between the rocks and get into that right berm unscathed. You can go fully outside, which allows you to get out with more speed, but you have to take a sharp turn to get back on the rock and into the right-hander. In Kiwi fashion, you can huck the middle rock garden to land in the right-hand berm, a dangerous move as we've seen a few wheels get hammered there. Alternatively, you can go fully inside, which is shorter, but you must slow down significantly at the entrance.
Charlie, while you're there, like, what's the dirt like? Because it's a fresh track, so it's going to be soft, but like, is it clay? Is it slick? Is it powdery? What's it like?
See this really loose dirt here and this small rocks, they're everywhere. It is really, really loose, and we've already seen quite a few people losing their front and rear wheel in that loose dirt. I predict that we will see some riders falling due to losing front or a rear wheel on this really loose condition. It's going to dry even more, so it might even be worse a bit later on today. So I'm in the second section of the fresh loamy woods, and we can see that some bomb holes are starting to appear. It is really loose, really dry, And with the riders braking and hitting compressions, the bomb hole forms, and that makes it really rough for the riders. I think by the time of final, it's going to be really hard to go quick.
After tackling 2 loose sections in the woods, the riders enter a true head scratcher of a section.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is ghosting time here in this track, and we have a brilliant section for you. Look at these lines. There's lines there, there's lines here, there's a drop into a big dusty hole, drop into some rocks, or just pulling up over all of them. Now, we could focus on the line, or we could focus on what's more important, how you execute that line. So let's look at this person here. Tell me, what slows him down the most? As Richie goes through, into there, down into those turns. What was the bit they had to slow down for the most? That's right, it's this drop, because if he went off this any quicker, it's a long way down into an upslope of a soft hole, and he would have snapped that Yeti. Now let's see how man of the moment Jackson Goldston deals with that drop. He sets up wider than Richie, and he lets it float, and he lands on those rocks, which is rough, but it's less height to fall, so he still manages to go off the drop faster. So we've had a Richie slow and smooth, a Jackson let it float with a little bit of sketch, and now we've got a Finn Isles pull, jump over all the problems, land on the soft dirt in the bank, with a little bit of a messy exit. Let's compare and see which approach works best as Finn comes into this section so aggressive. He's already pulled a bike length on Jackson as he swings out wide, gets on the brakes, but Jackson isn't slowing down. He actually catches up Finn, and they both get to the drop about the same time. And look, Finn pulls, Jackson doesn't, but they're both going about the same speed. It looks like Finn's slightly pulling out in front as Jackson heads to the wide line. Finn sets his hips in for the corner. Jackson gets a better setup, but Finn Isles takes it by 0.36. So we saw, despite the messy exit, the commitment to speed off of this drop made the difference. Let's go back to Richie though, because we know he slowed down and kept it super clean on the exit. And then on the way out, he did get the setup for this corner. Excellent. So let's compare. Check out this comparison. We got Richie coming in full speed. He's in front of Finn because he doesn't need to slow down to set up wide for the corner. But now Richie comes over the crest and he's got this tight turn. He gets on the brakes because he doesn't want to jump too far and land in that hole. But Finn does. He wants to jump and land up on the bank. Heavy landing for Finn, but he is out in front now. He's going so fast into this tricky right-hand corner, but Richie's not. He's controlled and he digs in, sets up, and overtakes Finn as he's going into this corner. I think Richie's going to take it, and that is what they mean by slow is fast. Be slow in the right place and fast everywhere else. But is there a way to be faster over that drop without getting out of control? Oh, come on, Gwen. Right, back that. I need to see that again. Back it up. Right, watch this. He comes into the corner and he rides it like a shark but then pulls, floats that crest line just over the edge of the drop and places that bike delicately onto the downslope. Super smooth, super controlled, allows him to get that corner good, and that looked fast. So let's compare. So we know Richie was really fast into this section, but Gwyn is also on it. He did help to design the course, so maybe that helps. Gwyn rails around the outside as Richie gets on the brakes. Gwyn pulls up over the crest. Look at this, he's in front, even though he took the long way round. Now they are both smooth into this next section, and we know Richie got this right-hander so good, but Gwyn gets it pretty good too. Richie is getting it better, though. He gets set up earlier. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch him, though, around the turn. Look at that. The old man, Aaron Gwyn, by 0.28. Come on. The Gwynner has definitely still got it. That was some sublime riding from the American. I'm excited to see how he goes this weekend. Ghosty, done.
It's like a big sand track. It's going to be real hard. All the little rocks on the track are round, so they're all kind of hidden in the soft dirt, so we get a lot of deflection. And then there's some big square edge rocks underneath this sand as well. So it's pretty hard for the riders. You've got to be super patient. You can't push into your front end. Be watching guy just leaves the front end here and go over the bars quite a bit. And it seems to be happening in quite a few sections. You know, I think the riders are that used to riding through such loose dirt.
I have finally reached the ski piece, which means I am about halfway down the track. That also means I have finished the top sketchy woods, and honestly, my head hurts. There's so much to remember for the riders: left, right, high, low. And what if you get offline? If you lose your rhythm, can you actually go and get that line afterwards, or do you have to do a complete different line? I think the riders that will hit the ski piece without having made major mistakes will be very happy.
From roughly the halfway point, the track becomes way more straightforward with jumps, fast sections, and becomes a game of who can break the least. Following a single line of wood section and the grassy off-camber ski piste corner, riders enter the flatter, last section of track. Ornamented by a beautiful waterfall, the riders have to pump and jump through a series of high-speed, no-brake, fast but flat sections, punctuated with jumps that require pulling or squashing before getting to the rollers. According to Aaron Gwynn, this double-double feature can be turned into a triple-to-roll feature. But let's see on race day who can actually make this happen. Following are a few bike park berms and a beautifully shaped shark fin that sends you onto the final straight jump and the finish line.
Charlie, that track looks amazing. Thank you so much for showing us all of that. What do you think? Like, what's your opinion on the track?
As the sun set on the American Far East, I can tell you, Ben, that the track is sick. It is really unlike anything we've really seen this season. Between the top and the middle of the track, they're basically riding in this loamy, fresh dirt. And Aaron Gwynn has pulled the track so wide, there is an infinite amount of line choices. It is going to be a very hard track to race because you're going to have to remember so many lines down your race run, and it's very loose, so every mistake can cost you dearly.
That was awesome, Charlie. Thank you so much for that coverage. And viewers, watch the race on Saturday and stay tuned for our Story of the Race video that comes out the day after.